Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another video. I am shocked, but I'm absolutely not shocked at all that this is finally coming out. We have known that we have had Frankenfood for a very long time, but if you have not heard, one of the Campbell's executives, as in Campbell's soup, like chicken noodle soup, Campbell executives came out and basically said they were printing meat. They were 3D printing meat. So I'm going to read you guys exactly what he said. There's a lot of expletives, so I'm going to like blank them out kind of. Like I'm not going to say, I'm just going to go, whatever. So you guys can hear exactly what he said. And then I'm going to talk about the hypocrisy of these CEOs and executives, not in only in food and as it relates to health, but also as it relates to technology, because I live in Silicon Valley and I can tell you these tech people are not treating their families the same way that they treat us. They are very careful about how they use technology in their own homes, how they use social media, but they are letting us become addicted. And the same thing goes for food. So let's read this. Campbell's is going viral after leaked recording reveals Campbell executives shocking remarks about soup's ingredients. We have S for effing poor people. Yes, he said that. Yes, you guys, instead of you guys making your own bread and making your own foods out of like ingredients, they're telling you to buy this garbage. This is for poor people. He's not wrong. It's sad, but he's not wrong. Who buys RS? I don't buy Campbell's products barely anymore. It's not healthy now that I know what the F's in it. Bioengineered meat. I don't want to eat a piece of chicken that came from a 3D printer. Listen to this one very carefully. I don't buy Campbell's products barely anymore. And he says, now it's not healthy now that I know what the F's in it. There was a point in time, you guys, when food was normal. So Campbell's, Jiffy peanut butter, even the cereals, there was a time when it was all quality ingredients. There was a time when that was, we just made food out of real food. Things have very quickly shifted. I know people are giving, what's that man's name? Um, RFK kind of they're making fun of him, but he's certainly onto something as it relates to what our health in America. We have stopped using quality ingredients for foods. We've stopped using real chicken in Campbell's soup, and we're using bioengineered food. Now, all bioengineered food isn't bad, but you have to question if all of your food is bioengineered, then what are you really eating? Right? What are you really eating? And bioengineered meat specifically has a nasty ring to it because it's supposed to come from an animal. It's one thing if you bioengineer wheat, where you're like sort of changing some of the resistance to pesticides, you're changing resistance to certain animals or harsh conditions. It's another thing to where you're creating animal products from nothing or from in a lab. That is an entirely different feel. And that's what he's saying. He said, we're 3D printing meat. And those people who are like, oh, there's something wrong with the chickens in America. There's something wrong with the beef in America. They're right. They're 100% correct. This is why I do not eat chicken, conventional chicken in America. I only eat organic pasture raised, cage free chickens because I do not trust chickens that are from Tyson's or Walmart, just like a regular brand chicken, because I don't think it's real chicken. I think they are feeding us garbage. Now, let's talk about the fact that he is an executive of Campbell's, and he will not eat this food. These people know what they're doing to Americans. They know what they're doing to poor people, so to speak. And this is why it's so important to stay educated because you are better off making your own chicken soup than buying it. Like, in these we have these food drives, these holiday food drives, and they're like, oh, just buy canned food. And a lot of it is Campbell's, right? Campbell's chicken noodle soup, Campbell's cream of tartar, cream of this. Oh my gosh. It's awful for you. And these people will not even eat this themselves. And that's how you know that it's not good for you. Now, let me translate this to technology. So I live in Silicon Valley, and a lot of these parents refuse to, number one, let their children have phones. like iPhones. They can have flip phones, they can have Nokias, they can have, you know, a very simple phone. But a lot of these children of executives are not allowed to have phones, let alone social media. They know that this is for the poor people. And what I mean by poor people is people who are unaware and uneducated of how this affects them. So they're like, "Oh yeah, you guys can all be glued to your phones all day and your children can be influenced, let me just say it like that, any kind of way all day, but not our children. We won't let our children do it." And here we are being led like sheep, just down a path from social media, being told how to think, what to say. They change our algorithms, they put it in front of our faces, and they won't even let their children have it. They won't even let their children be on social media because they know the negative effects. And for to me, this is all about changing the way you see the world, changing the way you view the world. These people, and I call them the elites. There's really no word for these people, right? These executives of huge corporations and companies. You have to understand that their marketing is to make money. It's not for your good. Like things are hardly ever done for your good, especially when it comes to money. It's just a fact. So as we're navigating life, we have to remember that we have to make choices based on what is good, what is actually right and true, and not what we think or what someone else is telling us. If you turn around a can of Campbell's soup and you can't pronounce the ingredients, put it back on the shelf and say, you know what? I'm going to buy some bouillon cubes because I'm better off buying bouillon cubes. I'm going to buy some chicken. I'm going to shred it up. I'm going to cut up some celery. I'm going to cut up some, and I'm going to cook my own soup. These people know that they're killing us, they're experimenting on us. And it's very weird. This is why when people are like, oh, well, I ate that and there's nothing wrong with me, I'm like, yes, because your food was real. Your food was real. They're running experiments on the American people and seeing who's going to survive. And they're running experiments on poor people. They're experimenting. In 20 years, they'll know exactly the negative effects that this has on poor people, on people in general, but they'll use poor people as their population test subjects. You got to open your eyes. And I know I sound like a conspiracy theorist, but you got to open your eyes. They're telling you this is now the third industry where we've been told that the executives will not feed their product to their children, whether mentally, emotionally, or physically. This is the third company that has come out and said that. We had cell phone companies, we had social media companies, and then we have food companies saying, I'm not feeding my children this. I won't buy this. This is for poor people. We'll experiment with mystery meats on you guys. You got to stand watch. And so this is why sometimes it's better to I like to buy organic. If I'm going to buy something that's canned, it has to be organic because there are certain guidelines with organic that you can't do this kind of thing with. And I know that everybody's in a different place financially, but it is not worth your health to be eating 3D printed meat. I can tell you that much. I can tell you that much. So I just thought this was like such a it was kind of like we were in the twilight zone with 3D printed meats, but this is the world that we've come to. So anyway, you guys, I just want to know what your thoughts, especially if you are older, like if you're in like your 60s or 70s and you remember canned food being normal, I want to know your thoughts. Because of course I don't remember like Campbell's being like healthy ever. Even though like I think I would have eaten it maybe 30 years ago. I think by then they were already starting to put additives and things in foods. I think you had to be born before 1980, 1980s before you could eat that kind of food. So I would love to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.